Four girls come together to talk about life and its ups and downs while trying to build their own, which is why some assembly is required.
I see London, I see France, I see someone's underpants, pink and yellow, gold and blue. I see what's hiding in your crack.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Some Assembly Required. My name is Octavia, and I am addicted to The Bachelorette.
My name's Lena, and I want to shout out someone who doesn't know me at all, but Kid Fury, congrats.
My name's Linnea, and I have no idea who the fuck Kid Fury is.
Nice. Alright guys, so today we are thinking about code switching and how we do that in our everyday lives. Just as Black women and going into social situations with families, with friends, at work, whatever the case is, we have to put on a certain face or persona in order to be accepted. So, definition of code switching, like, what would you say?
Code switching, in my opinion, is basically when you're going to a certain event or you're going somewhere and you need to act a certain way that may not necessarily be how you would be with your friends that you're more comfortable with. You kind of have to put on a persona to fit in or to get along with whoever you're supposed to be interacting with. For example, at work, you put your best self forward, you know, cuss, you know, talk Jamaican, you know, rump. You know, you put on your fancy voice and you say please and your thank you and you cross your T's and dot your I's.
Yes.
Whereas when you're goofing around with your friends, you're like, yo, wagwan, how is you doing? You know, you act a certain way.
Yeah, like you're more comfortable with them, so you act a certain way. And like, even for me at work, like working at a bank institution, you have to have a certain level of professionalism, and especially being a Black person working in a bank, mostly the demographic is not Black, so you kind of have to like overly be polite and be overly like helpful almost, just to kind of like match everyone else's level, which I freaking hate.
But that's the thing too, as someone is colored, they're expecting you to have that sort of stereotypical Black vibe.
Yeah.
So you have to act more quote unquote white in those situations just to kind of
put them at ease.
Thank you. Exactly.
Make them feel more comfortable.
Exactly.
Like, oh, I'm not that kind of nigga. It's like, oh my god. Like, I know, at work all the time. Like, I hate it because it's like, I feel like we should be at the point right now where we just look at someone and we see a person. Mm-hmm. And we obviously, like, don't be colorblind. Like, see someone and accept everything of them, but don't, like, put all of your, like, stigmas and, like, racist vibes and whatever onto them, because then that's just, like, I don't know, like, it's setting you up for disappointment, first of all, because let's say that person let's say that person does react in a certain way. That's kind of just reinforcing to you, like, all people like this.
I'm gonna get into that
first of all, they're not. Like, that's just the stigma that you already have. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you go up to someone who looks Black but they're speaking like a typical westernized person, mm-hmm. you're gonna like accept them more, because like, I don't understand. I think it's more just like what you find acceptable. Mm-hmm. But we should just accept everyone. Mind you, there's a place and time for everything. Mm-hmm. And if you are working at a bank, you shouldn't be bringing out the patois. Not everyone understands the patois. But that being said, like, I shouldn't have to overcompensate for my Blackness to make you feel more comfortable.
Exactly. Code switching for me has been, I imagine, very interesting, just because growing up, it's sort of interesting, like being an immigrant and then being a person of color and then being in a Western society, we're constantly trying to make people feel comfortable in a variety of different ways. I think code switching is pretty interesting too, because it can also put you in like, it's interesting to feel the need to code switch, but then understanding you have to, and then how people perceive you when you code switch. Like, for me, I've had one thing that people always have said about me since I was a kid, and they said,
Oreo!
Okay. Yeah, okay. That's not want to pull out the fucking O word, alright.
We were all called that. You were called that. I know, honey. You were called that. I know, honey. I was called that. I know, honey.
No, for sure.
I was talk about that after too, yeah.
Okay.
I was called that too, but for me, what I think is interesting is people always used to say that I was so well articulate, and they say that about me and all my siblings, and it's the most backhanded freaking compliment I've ever word, because what you're trying to say is that like I speak the way you wouldn't like. The way I speak is not the way you expect me to speak based on the color of my skin. And fuck you. I hate that. Like, it's one of my greatest pet peeves. People always say that. It's like, shut the fuck up. I'm speaking English the way I'm supposed to in this moment. Leave me the fuck alone.
It shouldn't surprise you that I'm
Right?
speaking.
That's not shocking.
Like, it shouldn't be shocking at all.
Especially in Ontario, Southern Ontario. Like,
Yeah, like,
why is
seriously, why am I surprising you with how I'm carrying myself? Like, that should
Seriously.
that
Even
that,
if
that
you-
just goes to
yeah.
show though that like the perception they have of black people, of the black youth, and how like they probably have never like actually sat them and spoke to more than 8 different black people in their life. Like, they probably just base it on what they see on TV, and because they do that, now when they see us, they're like, oh, you're not like that. Oh, you're so well behaved and well articulated. Oh
But
my.
that's so trash. That's so trash though, because then also too, you're also making the assumption that when someone speaks in slang or any sort of abbreviated form of English, they're less intelligent, and that is not true, right? Like, at the end of the day, if I don't know, if you met a white person and they're speaking slang, they get sort of forgiven. I admit sometimes it's like a little weird, but you're not as like, okay, this is a reflection of your intelligence, whereas I find with people of color in general, it seems to be a reflection of their intelligence, but then it's like your inability to speak English the way I'm sorry, I'm doing quotation marks,
yeah,
consider proper is not like, doesn't tell you how intelligent anyone is,
yeah.
you know, so it's trash.
For me personally, when I see like a white person speaking like slang, I don't
It's not
mind.
really slang. It's
What's the word for it? What would you say?
It's-
Because I'm trying to find it.
I
slang.
don't know what it is, but it's when they're trying to be a stereotype.
But I don't think that's
But that could be
Yeah.
an influence of where they grew up though. Like, it's not just the fact that they like
because
Toronto man, Toronto up on Demeji. Like, if they're growing up in Toronto, they may talk like that.
No. But as someone who went to school for 5 years in the Niagara region, where no one's left
Okay.
since they were born.
Okay, that's different. Okay.
And they start pulling that out, and it's like you're kind of mocking, people from the GTA, thinking that we're uneducated when, that's not necessarily true.
I think they do it because they think it sounds cool, or they want to sound a certain way. I don't think it's because they think it's an uneducated sound, because no one wants to sound uneducated. I don't think anyone like goes around like, oh, I'm gonna sound like an idiot today. I think it's more just like, I don't know, like, I'm urban, this is what I sound like, this is what I want to sound like. But I think the problem is the stigma that comes with that, and how like, I think white people are a little bit more forgiving in that because you see them before you hear them. So your guard is already, for most people, not up when they see white people. It's kind of just like, okay, whatever. It's like, whatever. And then they start speaking, then something might click where you're like, okay, like, this guy may be a waste man, or whatever the case. But I feel like for black people it's different because before we even speak or open our
People already
mouths,
think
we're
they know what
already
we're gonna sound like.
Yeah, there's been that
I've literally
perception.
had people when I was going to school in Niagara come up to me like, oh, you're not like a normal black person, eh? And I'm like,
You're so pretty
Huh?
for a black girl.
don't even start on that fucking line. Don't even. I've had guys come up to me and say that too. I'd never fuck a black girl, but like I'd fuck you. I am black, you fucking idiot. Like,
I'm attracted
Excuse
to
me?
black girls, but you don't look like a normal black girl. What the fuck? what does that mean? I've literally had a guy look at me in the eye and say it, and then they think it's like a compliment. Like, they think it's like, oh, like
no,
you're
you just fucking insulted me. Excuse
that's
me.
like really rude. Like, that's really rude.
I have to tell people, like, that's not a compliment. Like, you're actually being a hella fucking rude, and I have to walk away before I fucking turn around and then really show them what quote unquote black people act like.
do you
That's the worst.
Are you scared of acting angry because
Absolutely.
of the stigma?
I'll tell you a story. So I was at gym at my school, and one of the girls that was my friend ran up to me and was like, oh, this one girl, she started going crazy, Lene. She started acting so black. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my
I was
god.
I'm sorry, what? She was acting how now? And she is a black girl. Like, the girl that was in this situation, she was black. And, like, the fact that this white girl ran up to me, Linnea, she's acting crazy. She's acting so black. I couldn't believe it.
God.
I was like, uh-huh. And then I was I was like, what? And she
You're
explained
so
the
taken
situation to
aback,
me.
like-
Basically, there was all this drama and stuff, but I was appalled
Yeah.
that she would say that. And I had to remember where I was. I had to remember where I was, though, and I had to take her aside and be like, listen, like, you can't say that that's rude.
Yeah.
I get she was acting crazy, and even saying crazy now, it's a stigma to say people are crazy.
Yeah.
But I had to explain all that to her and be like, that's really offensive. And then I had to go talk to the other girl and be like, listen, this is where we are right now. Like the black girl, I had to talk to her and say, this is where we are right now, and you're really killing it for all the other black people when you act like that.
You actually said that.
I told you, we're the only.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You
We
have
are
to,
the
like,
only two black people
like,
in the athletic
it
center.
sucks, but that's our reality. Like, I understand, like, okay, like, we shouldn't have to put, like, that sort of pressure on black women to, like, do that, whatever. But when you're in a white space, and when you're acknowledging that you're not in a black space, so you're so judged in non-black spaces.
And then
you have to be hyper aware
all
of how you
of
act.
the
You have
stereotypes.
to.
All
You
the
have to.
stereotypes. We
You
were the
have to,
only two
like-
black females in the athletic center.
But it's crazy how comfortable that girl was to run up to you and say that.
Because it was almost like it didn't click in her head that I'm actually black.
Like, but can you imagine, like, if, like, you weren't there and she went up to someone, like, I just imagine how much,
If she said
Worse
any
than
other black
that.
person, it would have been so bad.
like, you know what I mean?
So bad. And I was like, girl, listen, you can't be saying that stuff. I understand what you're trying to say to
like,
me,
she's
but
acting so black.
she was in the wrong though.
Yeah.
There was some kind of argument that happened between two teams, and she was literally saying how she's gonna cut the girls and like all this stuff, and like she was in the wrong. But I had to tell her, like, you're going about it all wrong. You're going about it way too wrong. Like, obviously say your point, but you can't say those sort of things.
Was she, like, aware, like, of what she did, and she was, like, listening to what you were saying, or was she just, like...
In the moment she was upset, but I think she got it after.
Okay. Because I feel like that's half the battle. Like, if you just, like, pull them aside and, like, okay, like, obviously they're not probably gonna learn in that one moment, but it's the least, you know what I mean?
Like,
Like,
she knows now.
yeah.
But that sucks, right? Like the fact that like you had to literally go to someone who was angry, and even though she may have been in the right or the wrong, she's a human being and she's being angry in that moment. But because of the space we're in, your code, like you need to be on your best behavior. You don't get to feel emotions. You don't get to be a human
Not like
being.
that.
You legit have to. But she doesn't get to be a human being in that moment. What you want her to do, which I'm not shading anyone for, because I understand the sentiment, but like in that moment, you want her to be like, oh, Susan, like, it's okay, Susan, like, calm down, Susan. And even if that girl had, like, slapped her in the freaking face, right? Being that angry doesn't look good to other people. So,
But when you're black and that angry, it doesn't look like good to other people. Because if it was another white girl, she wouldn't have run up to me like, Linnea, this girl's acting so white right now. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
I know. And I know. And that sucks. That definitely sucks, because it's like, okay, so we're not allowed to be angry. We're
like
not
you can't
allowed
have
to be
emotion.
loud. We're not allowed to be sassy. That was an air quote. We're not allowed to be ratchet. We're not allowed to be ghetto. We're not allowed to dance.
But you
We're
also
not
can't be too
allowed
proud. That's coded language though, right? Because even like the way so one we're talking about code switching, but I feel like it's like encompassing all these different aspects. But for example, when people say ghetto or ratchet, right? That's coded language, and it's interesting. It's like people use that term all the time, but there's a clear idea of what you're referencing when you say ghetto and ratchet. You're not referencing some white girl down the street. Like, and the thing is too is like you call people out and they're like, oh no, that's not what I'm doing. But it's like there's still connotations with that word. So why are you using it? When you say ghetto, you're thinking of people living in poverty. You're thinking of people of color, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting that it's not code switching per se, but it's just the language.
So when I use the word ghetto and ratchet, I know exactly what I'm referring to. Like, I am talking about the stigma that is in it. I'm talking about the black people that may wear these bright color weaves and these long nails and chew their gum and pat their weaves and walk around, and that is what I'm talking about. But I'm saying that those women can't even exist as they are without having like those negative stigmas around them. And it's not just like to be called ghetto and ratchet. Like, I feel like it is a negative word. It definitely is. But it shouldn't be like that's someone's reality. Like, to us, we may not have grown up in those sort of neighborhoods or that sort of circumstance. So we don't really understand it. But for people who do act like that, I'm not saying like it's a bad thing. They should be allowed to act like that. If you love wearing bright blue weaves and having your nails long as hell and you like acting like that,
to do that.
live like that. What the hell? Live like that. Like that is your reality. But then now, like, people are starting to encompass this negative vibe around being ghetto and ratchet. Now it's tied to that. But like, my whole thing about life is allow people to exist as they are. Like, from what I've been through and just being judged for my body, like, a lot growing up, I've learned to really like just let people live, because I know that like it sucks when people make me feel like that, so I would never let someone else feel like that. So the first thing is let people exist. But the fact that we don't even let like black people exist as they are, and we always want to confine them and put them in these boxes and they have to like wear certain masks to fit in, it's like, oh my god, like, just let people live their lives.
See, but even like, just going back to the language thing, right? Because I understand what you're saying. I understand that for you it's steeped in a certain specific thing, but a lot of people use that term to reference like black people in general, or even like ghetto. Ghetto literally means like, I don't know the exact definition, but it's like poor area, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
literally what it means. Ratchet, I don't know the definition behind it, but when you use those languages, no one's like, yo, that's so fucking ghetto, and like hyping it up. They're like, oh, that's freaking ghetto, that's ratchet chick. Like,
That's not true. That's not true. Ghetto is actually so. Okay, you guys are gonna yell at me.
we're gonna disagree.
You guys are gonna yell at me, but the Kardashians. Okay, I'm gonna use them. They actually, I know, but they've actually taken the word ghetto and quantified it to make money. Like, they have actually taken it. I watched the show. Khloe Kardashian will actually go and she'll have like the, God. Okay, I love these sisters, but I'm talking about them. I know they're idiots. I know. Like, I'm about to say a story that's so dumb, but I'm gonna say it anyway. They literally, like, she has like these big fur coats, these gold earrings, like these gold big hoop earrings. And then she's talking to her sisters, bringing her sisters into her closet, because there was an episode where she was showing off the closet. And she was literally like, you guys gotta have some ghetto fab in your life, like you need this, whatever. She used it in the sense that ghetto fab, it's this like fashion statement that like she I don't know, like and it was the first time I actually ever heard ghetto fab, to be honest.
Ghetto fab?
No, but it's
Ghetto fab is like sneakers and like red lips and hoops.
Yeah, like
fucking bandanas tied up.
Exactly.
It's fur coat.
It's an actual thing, exactly. So I think it's more so the word ratchet. I feel like ratchet has a little bit more negative, but ghetto, like, I guess it all depends on context.
Too loud, like, oh, that person's ghetto. Obviously, it's because you have the assumption that black people are loud. But I'm not.
Which we are, but fuck you. Being loud is awesome. Being loud, we have life, we have spirit, we have energy. Like, I am so loud. And anytime anyone says like, Tavia, you're so loud. Why are you so loud? It's like, shut up.
Because we were silent for so long. Let us speak. Let's be passionate. Let's be excited, you know?
But Octavia is loud, and she's free to be loud because that is who she is as an individual person. But then to have like that, honestly, it's I'm going off on a tangent, but yes. What do you think about code switching when you were a kid, right? Because I feel like my relationship with code switching when I was younger is different from what it is now.
I never did code switching as a kid.
Listen, so after elementary school, I went to Mayfield, and that's where, because I feel like in those early years, that's where you're really like getting a lot of your influence, right?
High school or elementary? Because I feel like those are two different times for me.
High school, I was more influential. A lot of what was going on really affected me more than elementary school. I feel like I was more strong-willed in elementary school.
Interesting.
Whereas in high school, I was a little bit more, I don't say I conformed, but I really paid attention to my surroundings, and I think that's where I really started to learn like how to act. So, and I'd even, going back on it, I knew that's what I was doing, but in the time I didn't understand it. So a lot of the music that I know is not, we were talking about it a couple weeks ago, it's not like stereotypical what black people listen to.
Yeah.
So a lot of the music that really affected me was really westernized, really quote unquote white music. So it was like rock or what have you, right? Or indie. And then when I was with my family or with my cousins or other black people, I didn't realize that they didn't really listen to that, and how they acted was different from them. So I felt like I had to switch to, like, code switch to something more urban, quote unquote, to fit in with my
your
family.
Yeah.
So this weekend, as you guys know, I'm going to Caravana, and I was scared to go last year, not just because of violence, because, you know, Caravana get wild, but because I was going to be in an environment I'm not used to, where there's going to be music that I'm not used to all the time. Like, I do listen to Caribbean music a lot, but I'm not as current because my parents used to listen to older stuff. So I actually, a little secret, try and catch up on, like, Vybz Kartel and, like, older music, so, like, you know,
You can fit in.
so I can fit in when I go over there.
Yeah, which completely makes sense.
Because sometimes when I do hang out with them, they're like, "Why are you acting so white?" or like whatever.
Do you
whatever.
did you get that from family? Like when you were at a family, but they make fun of you for
Not
how
my
you acted?
immediate family, because my parents came here when they were like 16, 17. So they basically grew up in Western culture.
Yeah.
But a lot of their family grew up still like in Jamaica and came here later, things like that. So I
Yeah.
guess their kids grew up more with that culture.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got a little bit more of that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, yeah, for me, like, I never felt like I had to code switch, but that's because my parents, I guess, were doing it long before I had to. So I didn't really understand. Like, last week when we spoke about music, like, my dad, for example, it would be Queen, Peter Gabriel,
Celine Dion was up.
yeah, Celine Dion. It would be like a lot of that, Lionel Richie. It'd be like a lot of that kind of music. We did still have like Bob Marley, and we did have some Creole music from St. Lucia. But it was never like me, who I was with my friends, was different than who I was with my family until. I don't know how much I want to say on this podcast, but until I started interacting with different family members, and I realized that I was different because I didn't know like the latest music, or because I wore my hair a certain way. Like, I don't know if you remember me back in high school, but I used to straighten my hair so my bangs are like
We all had the same look.
like
we all had the
this.
same look. That's where we went to school. When we went to school, that's how we were.
Yeah.
That's how everyone in school was, and you wanted to fit in, so you did your hair like that. You know how many times I was telling you about my forehead, you know how many times the hair doesn't grow here.
Yeah.
So you burn my forehead.
You straighten your hair every morning and then put it to the side, and I used to wear like my
It's part of the goth emo
gloves.
scene.
Seriously, and so was I. And like I felt comfortable in that. I did. It wasn't like anyone forced me to be in that. I just kind of gravitated towards it. But I remember like anytime I'd go around family, like they would always like be like, "Why are you acting like that? Like, why are you acting white? Why are you trying to be white? Like, do you want to be white? Is that what you?" It's like, what the? And then that has like such a negative like negative feeling for you, because then you almost want to like split personality. Like, you almost want to like not be in your body anymore, because it's like, this is who I am, but it doesn't match up with what I look like, so is it not acceptable for me to act like that? And especially when it's coming from family, I think we take it a lot more to heart than if it was coming from like some rando. But because it's coming from family and like, you know what I mean, like they're making fun of you, and even your friends, like most of my friends were white besides Lynn, like all of our friends were white, and like when you brought
Because
them
of where
around
we
the
went to
house, like,
school.
seriously, it was our environment. But you're right,
The majority of them were white.
yeah. But anyway, when I brought them like around my like family, my parents would be like, not both my parents, but some people in my family would be like, "Why don't you have more black friends?" Like, blah blah blah. But it's like,
They'd be like, "Where are these black people? I want to be friends with them, but I don't know who
See,
they are."
yeah, like-
because you made all your friends in school.
point one out, please, and I will gladly be friends with them because. But yeah, like it was weird, but I didn't think I necessarily had to code switch. I think it was more growing into my blackness that I felt took longer than it should have. Like, I remember in high school, I would tell people like I was from Brazil and not from St. Lucia or Jamaica. Like, I vividly remember saying that.
Are you serious?
Swear to God. Because I don't know, I wanted to be less black. I did. And I think,
Really?
yeah.
Shit.
Especially in grade 8, in grade 9, I did because of how my family made me feel about who I was, and then going out and being with friends and not not fitting in physically with friends and not fitting in personality-wise with family really cause like a conflict. But then I honestly feel like in grade 11, 12, I was like, fuck, this is dope. Like, it was honestly my trip to Italy. When my trip to Italy, I think, changed like my life. Like, that was like incredible. But yeah, I think for most of us, there's a longer journey as a black person growing into your blackness, and I think white people have to go through. I think like born white, you're just kind of like,
Just done.
this is me. Take it for
What it is, world.
This is what it is. Like, for the most part, I'm already accepted in society as I am. Whereas like black people kind of have to like navigate the waters a little bit more to find themselves. I wish we had a white person here.
Me too. I would love a white take on this.
Yeah, me too. Leave comments if you guys would like to share
let
a
us know.
story. Just
Let
to
us
like
know.
give us a, maybe you as like a white person have gone through something similar to this, and we'd love to hear it.
Yeah,
But I think that's different though. I think with white people, it's not necessarily. I mean, I guess you could argue they do their own code switch, but it wouldn't be in terms of like.
it would be in
racial
terms of
identity.
race. But I do my
it wouldn't
own
be
code
into-
switch. I feel like I do my own code switches without race
Yeah.
all the time. When I'm with different groups of people, I act a different certain way, not necessarily acting black or acting white as per se, but I know how I can act.
shy,
Exactly.
cute, sexy.
I think everyone has their own sort of vibe they want to put out at different times, and like when I'm going somewhere, I think about what vibe I want to put out, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. There's other people I'm really comfortable with just being like myself, like completely. And then like we were just talking, like I was telling Tave the other day how sometimes most of the time I'm not comfortable with being vulnerable, and I think showing my true self is really vulnerable to me. So I have my own little code switch that I have where you think I'm being completely myself, but it's actually just one version of me that you're seeing.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's just been how I've been navigating, and I like it. I love having little different personalities. It keeps things interesting and keeps me mysterious.
I think mental. Talking about when I was younger and in high school and elementary school, it was different because I moved around a lot. I went to like 7 different schools and stuff.
Jesus.
Like that.
Even hearing that.
7?
7.
That's
Yeah, so
hectic.
as a
Yeah.
result, I was constantly like, I think I was still me, but it was sort of jarring because each time you'd move, to be honest, kids didn't like me either. So it wasn't like I was like upset when I would move, except for
I don't
one
know if someone
school.
could not like you. Like, you're such a likable person.
I know.
Like, she's
That
so
smile.
sweet and like.
Look at that smile.
Anyway.
It makes sense.
Anyway.
Look at that beautiful smile.
Anyways, no, but kids didn't really rock with me, so when I moved, I was like happy to move, but I wasn't good at, I don't know, whatever made kids. I wasn't good at like, I don't know how to explain it. So I fundamentally couldn't change certain aspects of myself, like certain personality attributes or like just tendencies, but I could change the way I interacted with people. So when I was like really small, it was difficult because like that, when you're like a little kid, it's difficult to, do that. But once I hit a certain stride, it was like, okay, like I can make myself fit for who I'm in front of, but in a way that was like terribly unhealthy. And code switching for me when I was younger was like, because I also wasn't the smartest, I didn't do super well in school. It was interesting because I would like code switch from teachers, and people always said I was really nice and good to be around, but then I didn't really find my voice. So code switching for me was more of like a protective measure than anything else. And I didn't have as much issues with my family because I don't have a lot of extended family in Canada. I never felt pressured like I was acting overly white when I was younger. I would feel that pressure in school though, because like I look black, it's very apparent I'm black. There's no like, oh, I'm from Brazil shit. Like I look like I am from the continent of Africa, no joke. So like as a result, it was really difficult because then who I was as a person similar to Octavia and Linnea, who I was internally didn't reflect my skin tone, and then going to schools where it was predominantly white, there was an expectation that I was something that I wasn't. And it just created a lot of conflict similar to that. Again, did not deal with it in the healthiest of ways. And then by the time I got to high school, I was still dealing with that conflict. It got really difficult to find my voice.
Do you feel like if you were just allowed to exist as you were, like people just like let you be you, do you feel like a lot of traumas wouldn't have happened? Like, just in regards to you trying to fit into like school, stuff like that. Like, do you still think you would have gone through like trials and tribulations, like in regards to friends, teachers, personally, or do you feel like a lot of it was external?
I think it was mostly external.
Okay.
Because it was weird because I moved around a lot, so I never really had like a good chance to like get to know people. And then when I got comfortable with people, they either didn't like me or so I don't think a lot of it was external. And I think also too, because I dealt with all that trauma when I was younger, I think I like low-key dealt with a little bit of like post-traumatic stress, because the way I would react to things probably didn't equate very well to the situation, but because I didn't have those opportunities to build those skills, I was like fucked from the get-go. So I think that's sort of where it's at.
Yeah, that's why, like, I'm gonna even go back to what I said before, man. Like, if anyone listens to this podcast, like, listens to,
If we have any listeners.
like, if there's one person listening, allow people to exist as they are.
You said
like,
that before too at the last podcast.
Did I? I'm gonna say it every podcast because I don't feel like people do it enough. I feel like we really like either push people away or
Force them to be something.
force them to be something that they're not.
It's like, you can say like let people be who they want to be, but by the time you're at a place where you realize that is essential and important, you could be 45. Do you have a time where you code switch where you wish you hadn't?
Ooh, that's a good question.
No. I make my switch.
I make my switch.
No regrets.
No regrets.
None.
Have I ever done a code switch that I regret? I don't know, man. Growing up, I was kind of fucked. I could have done something that I was like,
I think if I didn't code switch, my life would be a lot different.
better or worse.
Probably worse.
Worse.
I was gonna say probably way worse.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Not that my life is bad now. I mean, it could be better in parts, but it's not that shit. But still shit, but not that shit. But it would have been worse for sure.
Moment when I code switched and I regret it. I'm gonna say no. Cause I don't remember a time where I was pretty much always like the same person. Maybe I'm much more confident now, but there was never a moment where I ever was like, where I spoke bad about like Black people, or like I felt like,
No, not necessarily that, but maybe you.
yeah, but
You know.
like, but when would you regret code switch? Like when, like I'm trying to think, because if you like tried to act a certain way and then like spoke down
Was it
about
back-
your race, like
No, I was just gonna say
backhanded,
that no. Maybe
like when,
instead of it helping you, it made things worse.
Could be either or.
No, but there were some times where like I would just act as I am, and people like would expect me, because I was like the only Black person at school, to act a certain way, like what they saw on TV, and when I didn't, they'd be disappointed and like, oh, you're not fun, or you're not like this, and like maybe that would be something, but I don't regret that. Like, you're just like, fuck you. Like,
To me, code switching is like a defense mechanism. Like you use it to protect yourself, to like either avoid awkward situations or like not get into any trouble.
yeah.
And I feel like there's been situations, if I didn't code switch, I'd probably like get beat up or get into arguments with people you don't need to be getting into arguments with.
What about you? Do you regret any code switching?
No, not necessarily, because I realized that sounds really sad, but code switching is essential to being able to be like treated with respect at certain points. If I don't act a certain way, if I were to like indulge in certain things, by default, it would just make my life a lot harder. So I don't regret code switching, but it does, I feel like, have a bit of an emotional toll depending on this, like, the situation. because some people get the opportunity to just be themselves and be themselves fully, even if that makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But sometimes like code switching, and I'm not saying this necessarily relates to me, it's like a life or death situation. If I like flip off the handle and I'm like, I don't even want to say like anger is the only way code switching happens, because no, you can legit just like meet someone like, oh hi, nice to meet you, my name's Lena, and just switch in a way that makes that person feel comfortable at that time, so it doesn't. For example, with jobs are a great example of that. When you go in for an interview, the first thing you don't, right? Because of the way people will perceive you if you talk a certain way or speak a certain way, or based on people's perceptions about who you are, you have to, okay, like I'm going to be in my high-pitched, like bill collectors are calling my ass, like voice to make sure that like I can get this position, right? Yeah. And the minute you go a little bit off, you can see it in people's faces, right? I have a very in quotation marks, white name, Lena. People assume I'm white, so I can always tell if I go into an interview. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but sometimes I do, and I shake their hand and like, oh, you're Lena? It's like, but you didn't think I was black, bitch. And just, I'm like, oh, surprise, motherfucker, right? And then just, go into it. So I think it can have an emotional toll, but I also think it's essential for like safety and job security, and just being able to live life to the best of your ability.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, closing thoughts? Yes, closing thoughts. So, I'm gonna say it again. Allow people to exist as they are.
Jesus Christ. I think coding is... Sorry, final thoughts.
The Holy Ghost.
Sorry. Final thoughts. My final thought is that I think coding is a defense mechanism, and I think we use it to protect ourselves, to be seen as a certain way by people around us. And I think if you don't use it, you're either white or you don't care. I wish that I didn't have to code switch, but I do, because I care. I wish I didn't care, but I do. There are people out there that don't. They just come at you like one of my cousins. He does not care. He will go and be himself, and sometimes it's really abrasive. But man is living his best life in his eyes.
My final thoughts are, I do want to clarify that I think code switching, although it's not necessarily like negative or positive, it's just, I feel like, an inability to like be your authentic self. And I think code switching, saying that people have to code switch is not meant to sound like, oh, you have to act proper in order to get this job. That's not necessarily the only case code switching happens. I think it can happen for anyone. And I think my big thing is like, code switching is sort of essential to like being able to be in different spaces and certain places, but just because you don't code switch, that doesn't make you less of a human being or like less of an individual. I just think sometimes it's essential because sometimes the way you look is way more important than who you are.
Yeah. My closing thoughts?
Look at her face.
No, I'm gonna say that I challenge you to really look at yourself and really look at how you see others, and try to challenge your stigmas and try to challenge your preconceived notions about how you think people should act, and just try to see everyone for who they are individually and then judge them before they even get to speak. And I think that should be like a little challenge for everyone, because you'd be surprised on how much prejudice you actually carry with you. Rants.
Wow. Your caramel M&Ms and your peanut M&Ms are next level delicious. When you go to Bulk Barn,
come through,
and they're both the same price. You just take one scoop of the nuts, you take one scoop of the caramels, you mix that shit up. It's a surprise in your mouth every time.
A man known as Kid Fury. He is a YouTuber, ex-YouTuber actually. He is a comedian, he is a podcaster, and just such an amazing human freaking being.
Yes.
He is just, as someone who's like followed his career from like the get-go, like I used to watch him when he was on YouTube, and followed him from YouTube to podcasting to doing stand-up to giving him money every freaking time he decides to come to Toronto because he deserves it. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, and this man, you may never talk to me in your life, you may never see my face, you know I'm always at the back of your shows because I want no problems. Just know that this opportunity to do a freaking HBO show,
Come through.
Hype up.
producer and writer,
Know it.
next to a bad bitch herself, Lena Waithe, has me ecstatic. And I just want to say, Kid Fury, as a fan, as a person who's followed your career and will keep giving you my money to ensure that you can live your best life, I am just so happy.
Yes.
And just know I'll be watching that show. May have to get HBO, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, I just want to shout
Kid
him
Fury,
out.
I'm gonna still have to look you up on Google because I'm not sure who you are.
He's a
He's
Jamaican
good, man.
bad
He's
bitch.
good.
God, wouldn't it be cute if we just answered someone else's tweet?
Yeah.
So I found
Someone
this
tweeted
question.
at us?
No.
Oh.
I know, we're all getting hyped. We're like, wait, what? People are hearing us?
I was on
You're out
Twitter.
there?
I was on Twitter and I follow this girl named Olani, and she gets questions, and I screenshotted her questions for us to answer because I thought that might be fun.
What were her questions?
They're messy as fuck. But I'm just trying to put this into existence because if we start answering messy questions now, in the future, with some hope, we will get messy questions. So, I was gonna call this answering someone else's tweets. Does that sound like a segment?
Not that much fun, but we'll work on it. You just said what we're doing.
Okay, so we are literally gonna answer someone
Questions of the
else's
week.
tweet, and if you have some mess you want to share, let us know. So, okay, wow, here goes. So my boyfriend's foreskin is like a puffer jacket on his dick, and I can't take it.
A what jacket?
A puffer jacket.
Ew.
We do this. Okay. Wow, here goes. So my boyfriend's foreskin is like a puffer jacket on his dick, and I can't take it. But dude sees no problem with it. We've only been together a short while, but I fell for him hard. He just cut up law, but the anticipation for sex was high. When I discovered he was uncircumcised, I was shocked because I'd never dealt with one before. But I thought, hey, mama, didn't. Okay, sorry. This
Mama
person
didn't raise no fool?
Did not use no periods or whatever.
Oh,
but
okay.
hey, mama, didn't raise no quitters, and I can work with this. Yeah, wrong. There are really thin layers of dirt. When he rolls it all down
Okay,
and
come on
he does
now.
it so casually.
Come on.
It repulses me, but it's like I love him, don't want to upset him.
Love
But,
who? Who do you love that much?
Basically, I've been Googling surgery options, but don't know how to talk about it with him. Is it something I should even be talking about with him? And is this a valid deal breaker?
First of all, if it's going in your mouth, yes, talk to him about it. Like, wait, what? Yes. But the surgery thing is kind of hectic because, like, that's like his body. So I wouldn't say, like, go about it like, okay, babe, like, we're gonna get some surgery
Listen,
done here.
okay, I've had a lot of experience with dicks. Listen,
The pro is gonna take it away.
Okay,
please.
chill out. Seriously though, you need to mention that to him. That's not fair. You need to say something to him because he's obviously not taking care of his body. I don't think it's. You can mention it to him that you would like him to get surgery, but you've only been dating for a certain amount of time. I don't think it's fair. That's like some guy asking you, oh hey, like you need a boob job. That's what I feel. Like it's just his body. You know, his parents made a decision to keep his foreskin, so he just has it. I mean, if he's comfortable with getting rid of it, that's cool, but that's a discussion you need to have. If he says he's not gonna clean himself properly, then
Break up with
I
him.
mean, thank you.
Break up
I
with
think
him.
you need to break up. Cause that's just common courtesy. Like he needs to be taking care of himself. He doesn't take care of himself, especially
If
that
you-
area.
yeah,
it's not
like-
fair to you.
If your mouth is going on it, that is 100% your problem, and you need to talk to him about it.
Yep. I don't think it's fair though to ask him to cut it off
Yeah,
so
no,
early in
that's-
the
yeah.
relationship. People can't help what their bodies are like. Some people have saggy boobs. Some people have like large labia. Some guys got dick on their skin. Got skin on their dick. It is what it is.
Yeah, he
Just
has
gotta
to
take
clean
it
it
for what it
properly,
is.
and like that's it. Definitely bring it up to him though. You deserve a clean dick, honey. Come on now.
And I just assumed he should be cleaning it, so I mean, if anything, yeah, definitely talk to him about hygiene because that's reflective. I think Tiffany Haddish said it. When she goes on dates, she always looks at people's nails, like guys' nails, because she's like, if your nails are dirty, that's reflective of like the rest of you. So she's like, if you have dirty nails, you probably have a dirty dick.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you should probably like, talk to him about that. That's probably not healthy either.
It's not healthy. No.
Why is it not
I do know someone that has gotten the surgery done later in life, and it is really painful. So it's a huge decision for him if he decides to do it. But I think the first step would at least be asking him to take better care of himself in the hygiene department.
Sure. So what's the second question, my friend?
So, I'm crying as I type this because I don't know what to do. I'm getting married in 2 weeks, even after recently finding out my fiance was having an affair with his sister's best friend.
His sister's best friend.
I forgave him, stupid, I know, but we spent so much on this wedding. It's even featured on major outlets. Yesterday he told me that the girl was pregnant for him. I'm so angry with myself because I'm also with child. Oh.
What is happening? This is just going so downhill so fast.
Sorry. We're a couple months apart. I lost my virginity to this man and I am deeply in love with him, as he is all I've ever known. I've begged him to bribe her to get an abortion. Huh?
Okay,
but he called me stupid and said he won't do that to his child. Should I still move forward with the marriage? My whole family from Nigeria are coming to the UK for it.
Break it off.
You need to end that real quick.
Yeah, you need to.
Oh, not shake it out. I was gonna be like,
You haven't even gotten married and he's coming to you about an affair. Fuck this shit, bro.
Nah, you
don't
need to
need
break
the
that
stress.
off. Okay, so this is a hard one, right? Because
no, it's not.
It's not.
It's
That's
pretty
good.
clear.
hold on. Let's take into consideration her. Okay, so
So
why,
she's gonna marry him because her family's coming? You gotta swallow your pride. Man did you dirty.
I'll tell you.
has he? Is this was there any mention that he there's
Is he even
other
sorry?
problems? Is he was this the only time? Was it one big because I'm okay, so okay, you guys are gonna yell at me, I'm gonna say it anyway.
I'm gonna yell.
I think that if a couple goes through an affair, like cheating, you can work through it. It
doesn't seem
warrant
like he's
a
ready to
breakup.
work through it.
You can work through cheating. I do. However, if this is done multiple times, obviously not. That person does not care about you. It will not get better. The reason why it is so bad is because it was with his sister's best friend and now she's pregnant. So now it's holy shit. It wasn't just you only cheated. Now we have a whole new situation that we have to encompass in this relationship. But God, I don't know.
Plus, she's pregnant too.
I know.
No, break up. You gonna disrespect me like that? I'm pissed. Is he even sorry?
Is he sorry?
Is he sorry? I think that's the first thing. Is he sorry? Has he done it before? How many times did he sleep with her? Was it the one time? Why is he telling you now? Maybe he's telling you because he wants you to break it off. Think about that. Does he still love you? Because it really seems like he doesn't. And yeah, your family's coming in and it's going to be really embarrassing to tell them that this is what happened. But think about you.
Yeah, I know a couple that got married and everyone told them not to, and now they're living through hell. So that's not nice. If you feel like you, God, these kind of questions are so hard because I can actually see both sides, and it's I think she should break up with him for sure, but it's not going to be that easy. What do you think, Lee?
I think she should break up with him for the simple fact that at no point did you say he was let's go to therapy, let's figure some shit out. At this point it just looks like he came to you with a bag of shit and the only reason he's telling you is because that girl is pregnant. So
yeah, would he have told you if?
Probably not. And here's the thing, right? You can imagine that you're gonna have some big ass happy family, but no matter what, he's got a kid with another woman. I feel like at the end of the day, if you cannot trust him, and you have to be really honest with yourself, if you think this guy is ready to move mountains to make your relationship work, do whatever you feel is necessary for your relationship. But personally, for me, I don't think I could ever trust you again. I don't think I could deal with your bullshit. I don't think I could look you in the face without wanting to punch you in the face for the rest of my life. And I am not, literally, we're not even married, and you're trying to tell me I gotta sign up for the next, 18 years of some other this kid's life? Nah. Break up with him, move on with your life, make sure he pays you, gives you your money to take care of that child, and find someone who will make you so much more happier. Simply, Olani. Olani. Hold on, sorry, I'm trying to figure out what her. Okay, so on Twitter, she's simply Olani. That's SIMPLYOLONI, because I ain't trying to take shit without giving people credit.
Yes.
And she's out here providing people answers.
Yes.
So if you want to see what she said, check it out.
Alrighty, guys, that's gonna wrap up this week's show of Some Assembly Required.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share on all of your fave podcast listening platforms. Find us throughout the interwebs, whether that's Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, or just send us an email at someassemblyrequired@gmail.com. Don't be afraid to give us a shout out, like, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter at SomeAssemblyPod and on Facebook and Instagram at SomeAssemblyRequired. Let us know what you think. We'll talk to you next time.